Is that? Huh? Is that Superlatives time? Yes, it is. It's Superlatives time, y'all. All 8 awards are back as always. And no time to dilly-dally, I guess. Let's just get into it. I gotta eat my turkey. It's Thanksgiving. Yeah, by the way, happy Thanksgiving, y'all. Hope y'all have a great one. Let's start with the one that we always start out with, and that is your team of the week. And your team of the week this week decided to go to a very team that decided to clear up all sorts of playoff questions, or like, whoa, what happened? No. Oregon solidified themselves as a playoff team. They're the third in the Big Ten, and I feel like with the way that it's shaken out, they'll be the last one in. The way that they beat USC and how dominant they looked in some parts of that game, it's very good. It's reassuring for a team that I thought was going to be very, iffy at the beginning of the year. And throughout the year, they've done nothing but, kind of prove that. Here, they finally decided to show themselves as a good team, and that is great for college football as we know it. Because the more Big Ten teams that we can get into this thing, I'm an SEC guy, but I think when the Big Ten also does well, college football's at its best. It's kind of like when the NFL only has the AFC with all the good teams like the Ravens and the Bills and the Chiefs and the Bengals and the Chargers and the Broncos and the NFC has nothing. It's not fun to be an NFC team or think, who's going to win the Super Bowl this year? We all know it's going to be an AFC title game. Feels like this way when it's the dichotomy between the SEC and the Big Ten. When the Big Ten's doing good, it's a lot funner for college football fans as a whole because you don't know necessarily who's going to win it all. Now, that might be a long-winded way of saying, good job, Oregon. Keep up the good work. And welcome to the playoffs. Now, your next award is your Dude of the Week. And your Dude of the Week goes to a very, very, very special player. When it comes to the fact that, no, it's not a South Carolina player, unfortunately. I know. I get it. But it's arguably one of the most famous players in college football. It's Diego Pavia. He is the face of NIL itself, it seems like. But he popped off as the quarterback for Vandy. 33 of 39, 484 yards of offense, 5 touchdowns and an interception, but a total QBR that comes out to 226. Now, they did play Kentucky. I get that, but not a whole lot of other big names happened on the stat sheet. So, I see 5 touchdowns, I see 400 yards, I see 33 of 39. I see a good week for Diego Pavia. So, Dude of the Week. Congrats. Your next award is your Out of Nowhere award. Your Out of Nowhere award goes to a team that I feel sure we've all forgotten about, and that is Kansas State. And, Kansas State's been one of those teams that, was really good in the offseason. Yes, looked like a team that was going to potentially steal this Big 12. But they just had a very rough start, and they've just sort of started to, come back now, just like Iowa State, it seems like. And they went wire to wire with the number 14 Utah Utes, only losing to a last-second drive by them, 51-47. It was a great game for Chris Klieman. He was very mad after the fact, but it's still a good job. Kansas State continuing to show that they're willing to improve, and that's a great thing for a college football team. So as we continue to go longer and longer into the season, we continue to see the determination of programs, and Kansas State, seemed pretty determined in that game, and it was just out of nowhere. Hence the award. Your next award is your weeknight spotlight. Your weeknight spotlight goes to the game that set the Dude Bowl on fire as soon as it came off the press. UNLV Hawaii. UNLV kills Hawaii. Spoiler alert. See the Dude Bowl video if you want a somewhat better debrief of it. But Hawaii just lost 38-6. It was bad. Exactly what happened to San Diego State just happened to Hawaii. And now UNLV is in charge. And I'm not going to say anything when it comes to playoffs. Because I know if I do, UNLV is going to lose to Nevada by 58. So, good job. It was a pretty fun, entertaining name at the weeknight. Hence, the weeknight spotlight. Now that we've got the more positive awards out the way, it's time to go to the more negative awards. By negative awards, I mean the best award out there, the Bocce Award. And yes, I realized after the fact that I did not say the line last week, unfortunately. So I'm going to rectify it. I made to put extra emphasis. I put extra emphasis on it. Because it's arguably the best line. And anyway, Bocce Award goes to Georgia Tech. No more dilly-dallying on that. Should not have just fallen off the cliff like they have. Just continuing to go worse and worse and worse. The momentum down is just insane right now. 42-28 lost to Pitt. I mean, Pitt's an okay team. But it's been like this for a while now. Georgia Tech's been playing close against teams that they just should not have. Like Boston College. They went to the wire with Boston College. They're like 3-9. Disgusting. And it just continued to spread, it seems like. Because now they've just blown another one. Their season unraveling like a fruit by the foot. And it is nothing that we can do to save it, it seems like. Other than, beating Georgia. That's all I'm going to say. I may have an ulterior motive, but I feel like it could happen. Georgia's always felt a little bit vulnerable to me this season. There's not a whole lot they can completely rely on, other than maybe their, wide receiver, Zachariah Branch. Not a normal Georgia team that you think of immediately, but they're still good. And Georgia Tech, if they just focus in and play as peak capacity, they could still do all that too, I believe. So, the more that Georgia Tech continues to fall, the more it worries me. And that is what happened this weekend against Pitt. And that's what happened to the Bocce Award. Your award goes to, yes, that is the disappointed emoji you can see on the trophy over there, goes to Syracuse for quite literally one of the most disgusting scores I've seen from a college football team in a long, long time. 70-7 against Notre Dame. Notre Dame's not even that good. Let me put something into perspective for y'all. Notre Dame hung 35 in the first quarter alone. They scored 21 points with their offense touching the ball. What were they doing? Were they just sleeping? I know it gets cold up there, but I didn't expect for all of them to have winter break. Because it came early. Because none of the frickin', the team didn't show up at all. And, that's pretty disappointing when, the team falls that far down from expectations. Notre Dame could have easily hung triple digits. I'm still waiting on that game. But, anyway, in the meantime, Syracuse wins the award. Your next award, your Ugly Dog Award, goes to a special edition guest, the Samford Bulldogs, for losing 48-0 to Texas A&M. This is like a combination of the whole season. They're 1-11. Their only win was by 2 points in overtime against VMI. So I felt like I had to touch on that a little bit. Yes, I know they're not FBS, but they're RCS and played an FBS team, and they just didn't show up at all. I felt like it was fair. I just wanted to spotlight a team who's been having an awful time. Maybe if I spotlight some changes, will eventually happen. So, your Ugly Dog Award goes to Samford. And finally, your last award, your main event, some people would call it, the Heimlich Award. And your Heimlich Award goes back to the team that we were talking about earlier, the Kansas State Wildcats, for blowing the last-second drive against Utah to choke a big game loss. Stinks. Just not a whole lot big happened in football this year. And there was one other one that I debated putting on here, and I eventually decided, why not? That goes to the South Carolina punter for having Shazami blocked out of his punt and, selling the shutout win against Coastal Carolina. That stinks. But that's a whole nother, thing. It's oh, shucks, that's what happened. They still won by over 40 points. So, let's go back to the Kansas State one. It stinks to lose, but, it was a very valiant effort, and I feel like they went out fighting. And that's all you can ask for from a team sometimes, especially one that hasn't had the greatest season. So, congrats again to all of your award winners, good and bad, on their great performances in Week 13. Now, next week is Rivalry Week. There's a whole lot that's going to be happening. there's going to be one specific rivalry award themed thing, trophy, added because it's rivalry week. And that would be awesome. So, stay tuned till next time. Any award ideas, let me know down in the comments below. And until I see you next time, whether it be out and about in the world or in the next YouTube video, stay safe, happy, and healthy, y'all. God bless.